All right, you guys, we're going to get started. So, welcome. Thanks for being here. A little midday yoga break. I know it's challenging to get away from the desk sometimes, so I'm grateful that you all are here. Um, so, our practice today it's gentle flow and meditation. So, we will do just that. The last little bit of class will actually be a guided meditation, and the rest of class, we're actually going to focus specifically at the front end of the class on what's called upper cross syndrome. So it is when we are like this some of the day, maybe like this. So the shoulders are rounded forward, the head is forward. So we're going to practice kind of doing the opposite of that. So opening up through the front body as well as this is gentle flow, so we will do a little less strengthening than when we will do next week, but we will do a little bit of that because that's important as well. All right. What was that? Michelle is coming. Okay. Okay. There's plenty of space. You guys have left me a lot of space here. All right, we are going to start on our back. So if you will lay on your back, and you can choose to use props if you'd like. So, whether you put the bolster underneath your head or put it underneath your knees, you could put it along your spine if you'd like. So lots of ways to use that. You don't have to use it at all if you don't want to. So given that I know that all of you have stepped away from your desk to be here, I want you to take some time to first recognize that you actually took this time for yourself. It is a challenge to find time, but now that you have made the decision and you are here on your mat, let this be your time. This is a pause in your workday that is just for you. So take some time here to notice anything that is going on through the body, anything you feel, whether that be areas that are tight, but also noticing those areas that are open and feel loose. So doing a scan of the body. For a few breaths, let your attention rest on those pauses within the breath, the gaps. So inhaling, notice that there is a slight natural pause that happens following that inhale. And then as you exhale, notice there's a slight, again, natural pause at the end of that exhale. Let's stay here just a few more rounds of breath. And now bring some little bitty movement back to your body, whether that be fingers and toes. Maybe you do a little stretch. Now, if you're right next to the wall, be aware that that wall is right behind you, but any movement here to wake the body up. Beautiful. All right, we are going to meet in a seated position. So take your time to get there. And then once you arrive, if you have that bolster, you may want to use it to sit because we will be here a bit. Or you could use a block to sit on. And you can turn and face me if you'd like. And you also may want to have your strap kind of close. Michelle, I'll get you one. All right, so right here, we're just going to start with some easy movements through the spine. So first to start, let's place that right hand to the floor and inhale your left arm up and over. We're going to move a little bit with the breath and then we'll pause. On your inhale, let both arms come up to the ceiling. As you exhale, let that left hand land, right arm up and over. Let's do one more flow to each side. Inhale to come center and exhale to stretch over. Last time with the flow, inhale up and exhale to land. All right, we are going to pause right here on this side. Now, as you pause, maybe you drop your shoulder in. You may feel a little more through the lat, the back side of the body. Maybe you rotate your shoulder to face up, getting a little more through the front side. You could even do a little bit of arm movement here if you'd like to roll through that shoulder, completely optional. So just finding any movement here as we laterally stretch. When you're ready, we'll flow up and over to that other side. You choose how you get there. And then once you arrive, feel free to explore. Just finding what feels really good on this side. It might be different from what you experienced on that first side. You might need something a little different. Perfect. And then let's inhale both arms up. All right, we're going to reach, so hinge from the hips. We're going to reach forward and let the fingertips land. If you're on a block and it feels uncomfortable, like you're being pushed forward, feel free to come off that block for this part. Once you land here, a little walk of the fingertips to one side and to the other might feel good. A little stretch straight ahead might feel good. So we'll stay here a few breaths. Feel free to find anything here that feels right. And then let's walk the fingertips back in. Let's switch the position of the leg. So your opposite leg will be in front. All right, so as part of just, if you are forward a lot, your head is forward a lot, the head's really heavy and it becomes taxing on the sides of the neck. So we're going to do a little bit to try and stretch through that. So first, this is really, really easy. It's some semantic. So we are going to inhale the shoulders up to the ears, and then we slowly release them down. And I want you to notice as you're slowly releasing if that's a smooth release or if there's any little jagged edges within that. And those jagged edges are an indication that those muscles are tight and that they're a little more challenging to release. Shoulders up again, and then we slowly release. I find that last little bit is just not smooth. All right, one more time. Shoulders draw up, and then it is a slow release down. Good. All right, I'm going to turn my back to you for a second, Michelle. I'm going to let you have this. If you'll grab your strap. And we are going to anchor. If you've been here the last few weeks, we've been doing this a little bit. We're going to anchor that right shoulder down. So if you'll place the strap over that right shoulder, and then you're anchoring down so that you have that left hand drawing down, that right hand drawing down here. And then we're going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. So let that strap serve as that assist to anchor the shoulder in place. And then once you arrive here, maybe you drop the shoulder in, or the chin toward the shoulder. Maybe you angle the chin up. So once again, an opportunity to explore. Just find what you feel like you need on this side. Perfect, and then let's gently bring the head back up to center. All you're going to do is switch that strap to the opposite shoulder. And again, you'll use that strap as the anchor, finding here what feels real good for with your hand position, and then dropping the ear to the shoulder. Once you arrive here, time to explore. Just find exactly where you need to be. Maybe there's a couple of different spots that need a little extra attention. Good, and then bring your head back up to center. Let's release the strap, and let's do one more thing. So I practiced this with my husband and another group, and he's like, I didn't feel anything with that. And so we've been doing this a couple weeks. You'll have to let me know if you all feel this. All right, so you're gonna take one hand, does not matter which side you start with, but slide it underneath your shirt so that you have contact with your skin. And then that opposite hand can be on top. You're going to draw the skin down on that side and lift the chin up. And as you lift that chin up, you may even want to jut your chin forward and see what you can find along the side of the body that you are stretching down. You may even want to angle your ear opposite. But where we're trying to feel this is in the front of the neck, and you might even, if you have that little bit of an angle, you might feel a little bit up into that SEM muscle, that's that ropey muscle that becomes tight, maybe up into the jaw. Can you all feel a little bit there? Okay. Good, okay, perfect. All right, come back to center. It's probably just him, he just doesn't, just kidding. All right, let's switch to that other side. So you are getting that skin contact is important, and then you draw the skin down on that side, and then we angle the chin up first, and then maybe over to the side. Again, this is opportunity for exploration. So as you hold here, the reason we're spending a lot of time on the neck, again, if the head is forward, we have some hyperactivity through the muscles of the front of the neck and the sides of the neck. So just an opportunity to kind of let that release a little bit. All right, let's release that completely and move to an all fours position. So you'll come to your hands and knees. All right, so we've taken some time to stretch a little through the neck. Now let's actually before we get started on this, let's actually do a little bit of just cat and cow movement. Hands are underneath their shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Let's find a cow pose first, tailbone up, chin up. As you exhale, round out through the spine, tuck the chin in and the tailbone under. Let's do one more round like that together. Inhaling, finding your cow pose. And exhale, cat round. Good. Now return to a tabletop position, flat back. And let's do a little bit here. So we stretch through the neck. Let's actually draw the chin toward the back of the throat. So try to keep your head aligned. And then that right arm, we're going to send it straight out in front. All right, we're not sending the left leg back quite yet. What I want you to notice here is that right arm forward, how there is a little extra core strength that's required to hold this shape, and we don't have that counterbalance. And now let's add that counterbalance. Send your left leg straight back behind. We have a bird dog shape. This is our only balance practice, balance kind of part of practice that we'll have today. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, draw elbow and knee in toward each other. Inhale to lengthen, arm and leg long. Exhale, elbow and knee in. We have one more like that. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow and knee in. Now inhale to lengthen, set your right hand back to the mat and push up and out of that hand. Find extra length through that right armpit area. And you may even want to crawl those right fingertips forward just a little bit, that right hand forward. We're doing a half moon pose. So you'll turn those right toes, underneath you. And then we'll send the left arm up into the air. The left leg is already up in the air. So you've got this little half moon shape, beautiful. Again, this is all the balance stuff that we're gonna do. If you'd like here, you could bind, so you could reach back for that top foot and open up through that thigh if you'd like. Perfect, and then let's gently release back to a tabletop position, and let's press back to an extended child's pose. In extended child's pose, feel free to rock a little through the hips. If the forehead reaches the floor, you could roll the head from side to side, massaging through the forehead. But just rest. This is the opportunity within the practice to pause. And then meet me in that all fours position. And let's set ourselves up here. So strong core, abdominals are strong, chin toward the back of the throat, left arm stretches out in front. Find again that strength through the upper body, pushing up and out of that right hand, strong through that right hand, reaching with those left fingertips. Let's reach the right leg straight back behind, bird dog. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, elbow and knee draw in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow and knee draw in. One more like that. Inhale to lengthen long. Exhale, elbow and knee in. Inhale to lengthen, set the left hand underneath the shoulder and then just slide it forward just a little bit. You're doing that quarter pivot to face the long edge of your mat, and you might want to bring that left foot with you, kickstand it behind you, and then you've got this little half moon shape, the right arm, right leg into the air. Maybe you stay here, maybe you find a bind where you're reaching back for that right foot, completely optional. Beautiful. Let's meet back in a tabletop position. And from that position, curl your toes under and let's walk hands and feet together. We'll find a standing forward bend. And in this standing forward bend, just letting the upper body hang loose. If you're tight through the hamstrings, give yourself a little extra bend in the knees, maybe widen your stance a little bit. And let's all cradle the elbows. Just feel the weight of the upper body here relaxing down. Maybe it's a gentle sway from side to side that you add. Maybe it's stillness. The shoulders relax. The head, the neck relax. Let your arms hang loose. Let's begin to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. If you need support, place your hands to your thighs. Come all the way up to stand. And then once you arrive all the way up, you can turn and face me if you would like. That same cradle that we just did, we're going to do that again, but this time above the head. Feet are hip bone width apart, and you have weight that's going to stay evenly distributed through the feet. Let's actually bring the body over to that left side and feel the right side of the body stretch. Good. Slowly bring the upper body up, and we'll switch to the other side. Beautiful. And then come back to center. Let's release the arms down. If you will grab your strap, let's do a little bit more shoulder lengthening. So we're going to grab that strap. When we have, this is an anatomically correct position with the palms facing forward. So we're going to try and keep that as we stretch through the shoulders. So think about palms facing forward. If your shoulders are really tight and you need to have the palms facing back, that's absolutely fine. But trying to find this opening through the front of the shoulders, that's what we're looking for. All right, so feet are hip bone width apart. We are going to fold the body forward and let the arms stretch up toward the ceiling perhaps, or maybe toward the front of our space. If you don't want to focus in on hamstrings, give your knees a really deep bend. If you prefer to focus just on the shoulders, good. And then let's come all the way up. All right, last thing we're going to do with this strap for right now is grab the strap so that we have it in front of us. We'll bring it down by the hips. Have a pretty good distance between your hands, unless most of you probably know what we're going to do. We're going to slowly bring those arms up, and then you're coming back just to where you feel a stretch through the front of the shoulders. Good. Now, as you find that stretch, notice if you flare it out through the ribs. Try to keep the ribs tucked in and let this be about the shoulders. If the shoulders are tight and you have some inefficiency there, that's where we try and compensate. So try keep the ribs tucked in. All right, let's bring the arms down. We're going to do that one more time. So on your inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, flowing back just to where you feel a stretch through the front of the shoulders. Good. And breathe. Beautiful. Let's slowly bring the arms or the strap and put it down. All right, friends, we did a lot for upper body there. Now we're going to focus in on the lower body, and then we have our meditation. Nothing fancy about how we're going to get there. Let's come back down to the floor, and we'll have a seat in the middle of the mat. And you can face me. You will need that strap again. So I just said we're done with the upper body, but there is a little bit more. So this pose I have a love, not like so much relationship with it. So I don't teach it very often. It's called cow's face pose. You may want to block for this. So here's what's going to happen. We're actually going to kind of slide this right leg underneath, and your left leg is going to be on top. I'm working the same side as you. So your right leg is underneath, your left leg is on top. All right, so right here, maybe like a shoelace, you can draw the feet out and the knees so that they stack. Maybe not. Maybe a block would be helpful underneath the bottom. Maybe a block would be helpful underneath your left foot. Good. All right, so that's what's going on with the legs, and then we add the upper body as well. So if you have that strap close to you, hopefully you do, your right arm is going to be on top and your left arm underneath. So I'm working the same side as you. So cow's face allows us to open up, and I realized how much I needed this when I could not zip up my dress behind the other day. It was probably too tight. That was the problem, and I couldn't. All right, so right here, feel free to close your eyes. If it feels good, just to make sure that right elbow's not pushing you forward. And if it feels good just to sit tall and hold, feel free to do that. If it feels good to do a little hinge from the hip, you could do that as well. You know, once we get into this position, if there needs to be, if you'd like to, a little rounding through the upper body, it's probably fine, but that's what we're trying to kind of not do in this class. All right, I'm going to, just so I don't mess this all up, I'm gonna sit like you. All right, hold here one more breath. And then you are going to release your strap. If you have a block, you may want to bring it with you. We're going to turn to face this side of the room. The left foot will be forward. All right, so you could have 90-degree shapes here. You could let that right knee travel back a bit. We're going to stay low with this. So where we want to feel this stretch is through the front of that right hip. So that left foot and left ankle are aligned. If you decide 90-degree shapes is something that suits you better, you could come up a little bit higher and then just actively draw that left foot back and the right hip forward. So you decide here what feels right. So this flow will get all sides of our hips. So right now we're working the back hip flexor, that right hip flexor. All right, now if you'll lift your right knee up off the mat, we are going to do a quarter pivot. You'll face the back end of your mat. Your left knee will stay bent. You're over to this left side, inner thigh, right side. So left knee stays bent. You're facing the back of the room. Yep, beautiful. And then we slowly travel over to this right side, bending the right knee. Left leg is long. Yep, you got it. Good job. You guys feel that in your inner thigh on that left side? Okay. Your right, left toes could come up if you'd like. The knee on that right side should be angling toward in the same direction as those right toes. All right. And now we're going to face this other side of the room. So we do a quarter pivot. You'll face the short end of your mat, your right foot forward, left foot back. Let's drop the left knee to the ground. Good, so you can have those 90-degree shapes. You could have that angle on that back foot or back knee. But where you want to feel it, where we're targeting is that left hip flexor. And if you are seated some or a lot during the day, that becomes tight. All right, so now we have a fancy way to get into cow's face on this side. We're going to draw that left knee in, and you're going to kind of sit down. You're facing the front of the room. Yep, it's pretty tricky, right? Okay, so now your right knee should be on top. Is that right? Okay. You've got that strap. So whatever knee is up, that opposite arm is up behind you. Bless you. And then maybe you crawl your hands toward each other. Try not to let that left shoulder push you forward. Sit up tall here. If you do want to do a little hinging, you could sit up and hinge the body. You'll feel a little more through the hips potentially. Feel free to close your eyes and just feel. So those joints in the hip, for the hips and the shoulders they can move in multiple directions, but they become very tight as a result. So when we release through both those joints at the same time, that's a lot that's going on. So just breathe. Beautiful. Good. And then let's release that. Release your arms, release your legs. You can send them straight out in front of you and just shake out whatever you might need to shake out. All right, we're going to do one more little flow for the upper body and for opening through the front body, and then we meditate. So if you'll join me in an all fours position. And from your all fours position, walk your hands forward so you're in a modified plank pose. From your modified plank pose, lower all the way down to your mat. And on your inhale, peel the front of the body up Let's do just a little back strengthening. Let's float the hands and allow the shoulder blades to kind of connect in toward each other so you're activating through that back body. And then let's lower down. We'll do one more like that. On your inhale, peel the front of the body up. Let's float the hands. Again, drawing the elbow or the elbows close in and the shoulder blades close in to each other as well. Feel free to activate the legs, sending the legs up into the air. And if you want a little bit more here, you could send the arms forward. That will require a little bit more from your core. So you decide. Let your neck be long. So if you're looking really far out in front of you, just find a spot that's just slightly out in front of you. Beautiful. Let's lower down. Make a pillow for your head. Let's windshield wiper the legs. Let your legs go long. Slide your hands underneath the shoulders, slide them back a little bit more and point your elbows back. Push up to a modified plank pose. And from here, we'll push back to either down dog or child's pose. Again, this is gentle, so if you prefer to go to child's pose, absolutely fine. Down dog, of course, is an option. Pedaling out the feet or finding any movement in your down dog, absolutely fine. Beautiful. Let's all meet in an extended child's pose. And you're welcome to stay in extended child's pose or find a puppy pose if you'd like to walk your hands forward a little bit more and then let the chin and the chest drop toward the floor. That is an option, but again, just staying in child's pose, absolutely fine. So either one, your decision. Beautiful. All right, we are going to slowly make our way onto our backs. So you can flip right on over. You may want to bring a block with you. So we're just going to do a little bit of time in inversions once we land on our backs, and then we have our meditation time. Your inversion time is going to be yours. So you have that block available to you. Again, being it's a gentle flow, you may want to use that block for supported bridge pose. You could slide it under the lower part of the back, supporting the pelvis. You could find a bridge pose without the support. You could send your legs into the air. You could do a little bit of movement here if you'd like. So any inversion, happy baby is an inversion. You're welcome to take that. Take one more big breath in and out here. Slowly come out of your inversion. If you have a block underneath you, removing that so that you are flat to the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. Send your arms wide in the shape of a T. Shift your hips a little toward the right edge of your mat and gently drop your knees to the left side. Turning to look to your right will add a neck stretch. You could also do a little more with this right leg by sending it straight out to the side long. You could even guide that leg with the left hand to a position that feels good for that right hip. Let's slowly come back to center, and we'll switch to the other side. So you may want to shift your hips a little toward that left edge of the mat. The knees drop gently to the right or to the opposite side. Again, top leg can remain bent. You could straighten it out. You could add that neck stretch. Slowly bring your legs back to center. Let's prepare for final relaxation. Now, given that our kind of theme is to do a little upper body opening and strengthening, let's use that bolster as support. So Taylor is setting it up in a way that might be helpful. So if you have 2 blocks, you could put 1 block on its side and then the other block on its end. If you have just 1 block, you can just put that 1 block at the top end of your bolster. All right, so take some time here. Namaste, friends.